What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we got what could potentially be a long one, so I'll be try to be as quick as I can through each one, but I wanted to cover my 20 favorite pickups of 2023. Now, this has nothing to do with anything that I may have been sent. This is all stuff that I bought that I was just excited to buy. It was really hard to whittle it down to 20, let alone 10, so I couldn't do 10 or 15. I had to at least do 20, and what makes it even harder is I tried to stick away from doing multiples from the same brand or at least the same line. So like there's only one Mancera in this video, and I bought a ton of great Manceras this particular year. So these are my 20 favorite pickups of 2023. Stay tuned. So there's no particular order to these. This is one I had been meaning to get for a long time. It is Guerlain Homme EDP Extreme, the plum tobacco version of the DNA. Beautiful, great performer, sweet, juicy, bitter, earthy. Doesn't have that leather note. Oh, still has all of that sweetness of the EDP though in the original, but doesn't have all of the leather and the smoke of the L'Intense. So this and the L'Intense are my two favorites easily. I go back and forth every day on which I like more. Most days it's the L'Intense, but this is a special fragrance. If you've never tried it, this might be the only one you really need from the line, because you get kind of, I guess, the highlights of the DNA with that bitter almond signature for the entire line, and then plum and tobacco. What a great combination. You just can't go wrong with that. It's earthy, it's sweet, it's a little bitter, it's got this nuttiness to it from the almond, a little creamy. Just a great fragrance, great performance, and great quality. What more can you ask for with Guerlain Homme EDP Extreme? Now, this is one of those fragrances that I bought several from the house, and even from this particular DNA from the house, but this was my favorite because I wear it the most. This is Tom Ford's Costa Azzurra Acqua. During the summer, I kept going back to this one. This is the Eau de Toilette version of the Costa Azzurra DNA. It's bright, it's fresh, it's a little green, saltwater aquatic, woodsy, a hit of florals. It's not overdone. It's bright, it's fresh, it's got that, you know, kind of coastline, by the beach kind of feel, Riviera type of stuff. Just smells of a classy freshie. No other way to really put it. Performance is nothing special. It's like a 4 to 5 hour fragrance. I totally anticipated that going into it. Some people claim less, some people claim about the same as me, but that's what I get out of it. About an hour of solid projection, 4 to 5 hours of longevity, and I just reapply because this is a fantastic scent, and my favorite Tom Ford that I picked up this year is Costa Azzurra Acqua. This is another fragrance that makes it difficult because I picked up 6 incredible offerings from the house of Jacques Fath this year. But for me, the standout was definitely Verlassou, because this is kind of a timeless citrus aromatic fougere style fragrance with some modern touches like ambroxan, juicy lemon, soapy aromatics, spices, that kind of barbershop feel to it. There's a lot of depth. There's a lot going on. It's a beautiful musk, very masculine. Just smells great. Really good quality, really good performance, has a strong presence to it. Just a great fragrance. The most masculine of the bunch, though every fragrance I got from the house this year is a standout in my opinion. Jacques Fath is a very underappreciated house, I think anyways. And this was definitely the one I raved about the most, is the one I reached for the most this year. So it had to be Verlassou was my pick from Jacques Fath. A recent pickup that's definitely one of my favorites of the year. If you like green, woodsy, and smoky, you will like Chopard's Cedar Malaki. This is a great fragrance. I literally just wore this 2 or 3 days ago at the recording of this video. Very much kind of polo green style without the tobacco. Aromatic and bright. Dry, a little dry and smoky, piney green and woodsy, based around cedar, obviously because of the name. It's such a good release from them. Makes me want to explore the house more, and the Malaki, however you say it, line. I want to explore further because this one is very impressive to me. Not going to be for everyone, but it's also not some challenging earthy green fragrance. But if you like woody aromatics that are based around, you know, cypress and patchouli and more green facets, you'll probably like this one. It's definitely one of my favorite pickups of the year. Chopard's Cedar Malaki. Yet another pickup that made it difficult because all 4 of the fragrances in the line I picked up this year, but the one I've raved about the most because its versatility, would definitely be Brioni Eau de Parfum Eclat. All 4 releases, including the newest one, Essential, are great fragrances, but the brightness to this one, grapefruit, ambroxan, pink pepper, olibanum, it's even a little smoky, very sharp musk while still being very clean. This is casual elegance for men, is basically the way I would put it. Because it still has a dressiness to it, a slight serious tone, but not too serious. It still has the kind of that laid-back vibe at the same time. Solid performance. Falls into a similar category of things like Terre d'Hermès Eau Givrée, though this has more elegance to it. Dior Homme Cologne, this has more elegance to it, but similar citrus, clean vibe, very fresh, very bright, but this is a little bit deeper overall. Absolutely one of my favorite pickups of the year. Brioni Eau de Parfum Eclat. I gotta tell you guys, if I would have gotten this first, I may not own Dior Sauvage Eau de Toilette because Gisada Ambassador is a superior take on the style. Mango Sauvage. It's got the peppered shower gel smell with some bright mango instead of a bergamot dominance. This is a great fragrance. You see that slight dent that I put in it. Just from spraying it randomly. I don't necessarily do full wearings all the time, but I'll do random test sprays just to enjoy this one for several hours, just sniffing on my arm. I love this fragrance. I think it's phenomenal, and it's a big departure from Ambassador Intense. That one smells kind of like their take on Sauvage Elixir, a different Sauvage, but that's got its differences. I don't think that one's the same either, but of the two, because I did pick up both Ambassador Intense and Ambassador this year, this has a higher level of wearability for me, and I really dig it. I like blue fragrances. I like Ambroxan. This is a bomb of it. Like I said, it smells like Mango Sauvage Eau de Toilette. Performs great, smells great. Gisada Ambassador. So this is the Mancera that made the cut. Because for those of you that have been following along this year, you know I've grabbed a lot of Manceras. I've raved and highly graded a lot of Manceras that I've bought this year. But I haven't given the appreciation to any higher than I've given to French Riviera. Because for the summertime, this reminds me, this is one of the moments of summer for me because it's such a vibe. It suits my lifestyle. It really does. This summer was a casual, laid-back type of lifestyle for me, and this exudes that through its scent profile. It's watery, fresh citrus, clean musk, and the white florals here are a little creamy with a touch of powder. It's not just super flowery, the Thierry flower that's here. The woods are soft. There's no real density to this. It's lackadaisical and laid back. This fragrance truly is a vibe. The theme to the color scheme with the gradients, the name, everything about it suits one another perfectly and really fit what summer was about for me. So this had to go as my favorite Mancera pickup of the year, though there's a lot. There's probably at least 6 or 7 that I could have put right here of the like 15 or 20 Manceras that I bought this year. Might even bought more, I don't know. Bought a lot of Manceras this year. But my favorite, it was definitely French Riviera. Just wore this one last week. The consensus is it's one of the best designers released this year. I tend to agree when it comes to Le Male Elixir. Has the original Le Male DNA. I've had people argue with me and say it smells nothing like it. I'm not an ear, nose, and throat doctor, sir. There's plenty of lavender and fresh green notes that give a minty feel with the vanilla. That is the base DNA of Le Male. Now let's intensify that. Let's crank it up, add loads of vanilla to go with the tonka bean, and add a tobacco note that adds this dark, rich presence to the aroma. You get Le Male Elixir. I think it was very well done. Great release for Jean-Paul Gaultier. And a lot of people's favorite. Some people still say they prefer Le Male Le Parfum. Hey, I'm with you, but as far as pickups for the year, this was kind of a clear-cut choice for me. Le Male Elixir, it was definitely one of my favorite pickups. Now, this is one I did not anticipate to enjoy as much as I do. Charred woods and caramel, that is the way to describe Pacha de Cartier Noir Absolute. I will be wearing this Christmas Day. At the recording of this, we're a little over a week out. We're literally... it's the 17th as I record this, so about a week from Christmas Day. In 8 days, I'll be wearing this as my scent of the day. This is not for everyone, but this is totally for me. The note breakdown is a perfect depiction of the scent profile, charred woods and caramel. It literally smells like burnt wood, drizzled in caramel. A little bit of a fougere feel. I do get some earthy green to it, but the notes that they give you is pretty accurate, I think. Obviously, there's more than just this accord and this caramel going, but yeah. It's a great release that's super polarizing that I think a bunch of people would hate. Probably a bunch of people do hate, but there's probably a bunch of people that really appreciate the uniqueness of this scent profile as well. I happen to be part of the latter, and it's one of my favorite pickups of the year. It's Pacha de Cartier. This is Noir Absolu. In my opinion, at least for me, it's just my favorite designer release of the year. Spice Bomb Infrared Eau de Parfum. I think they continue to just put out great fragrances in this line. Fiery red, hot spice, leathery, resinous, smoky, rich, dark, ambery, matured. It's a more grown-up take on the original. I say it all the time. You don't realize how playful and sweet Infrared Eau de Toilette is until you smell the Eau de Parfum. This was such a good move. Oh, that is so good. This was such a good release for them. It's my favorite designer release this year. Hands down, the moment I smelled it, I was like, all right, this is the king. This is the top of the mountain. Nothing's going to knock it down no matter what I pick up this year. And after I got this, I got several more 2023 designer releases. A bunch of good ones. But for my taste, this is the one. This is my favorite release of the year. Just like in 2022, my favorite designer release was Le Beau Le Parfum. You know what could be my favorite designer release in 2024? And I'm talking to you, Jean-Paul Gaultier. Could be Le Beau Elixir. Just throwing that out there. I would love to see that come to fruition. Or Spice Bomb Parfum. Spice Bomb Blue. Spice Bomb Elixir. Just throwing that out there for any reps for any of these companies that could potentially see this video. Give the people what they want. And I like to think I can somewhat represent the people a little bit in this community. But that's how much I like fragrances like this and last year's personal favorite designer release in Le Beau Le Parfum. So there's some really good stuff out there, guys. I really encourage you getting to these department stores and checking out some of these designer releases that they have testers, because you never know what you're going to find, because there's greatness like this sitting out there. Easily one of my favorite pickups of the year. Spice Bomb Infrared Eau de Parfum. Now, I was super late to the party on this one. I had no idea it was this good. Prada Amber Pour Homme Intense. A lot of you viewers told me this was just magnificent, and wow. The myrrh, the soapiness, like you smell the original here, but there's a nice leafy patchouli and powdery amber smell that elevate this one to a different, just totally different stratosphere. This is pure masculine, modern masculine elegance in a bottle form. This is so good. I don't think I could dare insult this scent profile and wear it the way I'm dressed now, with a 940 mesh trucker and a hoodie. This is too elegant. This begs you to dress it right. You got to dress up with this one. I mean, do what you want. I'm just saying what I'm going to do. So it's going to be super rare and situational that I'm going to wear this one. But the next time I'm doing Oxford or better, which is coming up actually, I'm probably going to use this. Next time I wear a suit, for sure, I'm going to rock this in the evenings, evening occasions especially, because this is pure, I'll say it one more time, pure modern masculine elegance in a bottle. Also makes it one of my favorite pickups of the year. Prada Amber Pour Homme Intense. Now, I know a lot of people were very happy with Light Blue Summer Vibes, this year's release. I grabbed it. I definitely got it. But I also grabbed the previous 2 years' flankers and a Blast from the Past flanker. Still, to me, the best light blue flanker is Italian Love. I'm glad to finally have a bottle of it. I had a decant prior. I did a comparison between this and Light Blue Forever in the previous year, and this is my favorite. Until further notice, you get that sharp and tart, juicy citrus, very saltwater aquatic, but the patchouli really stands out. Having that earthiness with the sea salt aquatic smell and all of that citrus really works. I think this is just such an awesome release from them. Even though it wasn't a release this year, this is 2022's summer flanker. I just got around to getting a bottle earlier this year, and it's easily one of my favorite pickups. Great performance, great smell. This is just a masterpiece for summer, I think. Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Italian Love. Now, just like with Le Male Elixir and Spice Bomb Infrared, I knew this was going to remain in my top 3, and it came out at the very beginning of the year. And I knew I had to have a bottle. I had to decant first, but Boss the Scent Magnetic, immediately upon first sniff, I was like, this is the best one in the line. And I stand by that, because I love Private Accord and Absolute. Especially Private Accord. I got a big 200 ml bottle with a sizable dent in it. Of that, I love Private Accord. I wear it this time of year, but Magnetic is something about this brand Absolute and the Maninka being a bit boozy in this one, kind of how it is in Absolute. Make this special. It's got this kind of like whole wheat, in the fields kind of thing, like a unprocessed, unfarmed, like wheat field. Like picture that. If you've ever been around that dry, almost hay-like type of smell, like you mix some of that whole grain smell with that boozy fruitiness of the DNA. Oh man, this is special. This is super unique too. Outside of its own line, nothing else smells like it to me. I'm not saying there isn't anything in existence. I just haven't smelled anything else like it. From the start, I knew it was going to be one of my favorite releases of the year, especially for designers. And that stayed true. I'm so glad to have a bottle. It's definitely one of my favorite pickups. Boss the Scent Magnetic. Now, I picked up 3 of the flankers in the 1 million line this year. I picked up the 2 newest releases in Golden Oud and Royal. And I also picked up the 2020 release finally, and it's my favorite of them. It's the Parfum, 1 million Parfum. I'm glad to finally have a bottle of. I just love it. That bubblegum smell is still just the prominent role with this creamy tuberose. It's kind of got that feet in the sand type of feel while still being a sweet bubblegum fragrance. And it may not sound like it's good for summer, but I sure as hell wore it this summer. It smells so good. One of the more unique, but still ties true to the DNA in the line. I really think it's a strange one, and I know it's not for everyone, but I really appreciate this fragrance. Aside from Privé, this is my favorite 1 million flanker. Performance is bonkers. My wife's a fan of this one. Like, it just checks so many boxes for me. Familiar, yet unique. It manages to pull that off. It's just one of my favorite pickups of the year. 1 million Parfum. Sticking with Paco Rabanne, another one of my favorite pickups is Invictus Victory Elixir. So this Elixir trend, I'm here for it. I've been a fan of all the Elixirs released this year. I could have put several in here. Only a few made it. I think only 2 of the Elixirs. Yeah, only 2 of the many Elixirs that came out this year actually made it in this video, because not everything could make it in this video. But earthy patchouli, warm, ambery, vanilla, hefty dose of incense, the most faint of resemblances to Paco Rabanne's Invictus. I don't even really put it together, honestly. Regular Invictus Victory smells much closer to it, like a smoky Invictus, whereas this is all about patchouli, vanilla, and incense. It's kind of its own thing. It's amazing. I mean, for lack of a better term, it smells incredible. It performs great. I'm here for it. It's one of my favorite pickups of the year. It's great for this time of year. For any of you that like designer vanilla scents, it's a dark vanilla. I'm a fan. Glad I picked it up. Invictus Victory Elixir. Now here's a beautiful summer fragrance based around star fruit, other citruses. It's a little grassy green and aquatic. It's Tommy Bahama Maritime Voyage, their newest release in the Maritime line. Oh, this is so good. It's got a little bit of this creamy coconut milk kind of smell to it to go with star fruit. It's got that kind of sour citrus smell. It's quite good. It's not, not a great performer. It's an eau de cologne concentration. It's an EDC, which typically, I got to give Tommy Bahama their due. Their eau de colognes tend to have decent longevity, much better than eau de cologne is known to be. Normally, it's 1 or 2 hours at best with eau de colognes. I get anywhere from 3 to 6 hours from all of their EDC concentrations. This one I kind of get in that 5-hour range. This one actually is pretty impressive to get that longevity out of it. Then it's a fresh, volatile fragrance on top of that. But man, I love the theme to the bottle, the color scheme, and love the scent profile. Just this line as a whole is very beachy, summertime, really suits the location and the lifestyle I live these days. But I'm a fan. This is one of my favorite cheapies I've picked up this year. It happens to be a pretty new release. It's Tommy Bahama's Maritime Voyage. I'm happy they've made a flanker. I like the changes to it. I like the mintiness. I like that it's even more fresh and aquatic. It's Rasasi Hawas Ice. I do think this was a good release for them. It performs really well. It's finally down to kind of Hawas prices. I don't know if it's still in stock as I record this, but it was in stock yesterday for $55 at Fragrance Buy. I'll have the link down below. That's going rate that you would expect to pay for Hawas. It's good to see that the flanker's there as well. It's so good. It's not as heavy on the bubblegum smell, but it is there. You get the plum tie-in and all those things without all of the heavy spice from Hawas and that mintiness. It's synthetic, like toothpaste kind of mint, but it's not a lot. It's not for long, and it's a nice hit in the opening. It smells really, really good. I think it was a great release for them once again, and I'm happy to have it. It's one of my favorite pickups of the year. It's Rasasi Hawas Ice. Very much a woodsy green fragrance with a faint similarity to Parfums de Marly Greenly. That tie-in's there, but it's not so much like it. It's more of a cedar cypress kind of fragrance overall. It's Mercedes-Benz Ultimate. I'm a fan of this one. This is the best release I've gotten from them in a while. I think it was a 2022 release, actually, but I just got around to getting it. It's still right around 60 bucks. It's not super cheap. It's affordable. It's just not super cheap, so that's probably why not everybody's getting them. They're used to paying 30 to 40 bucks for their Mercedes fragrances. I get it, but I'm a fan of Mercedes fragrances. And I'm here for this one. A little bit of an ambroxan smell, a little bit of fresh spice, but it's overall more about these dense greens, aromatic smell, and a lot of cedar. It's got this cedar wood smell to it that kind of dominates, cedar leaf, all these different things. It's really good. It performs really well. If you like green woodsy fragrances, this is on the fresher side versus something like Chopard, Cedar Malaki being more on the earthy, smoky side. Kind of two different personalities to a similar style, if you will. One's fresher, one's darker. I love that kind of stuff this time of year. I love the woody green fragrances. So don't let this blue bottle fool you. This is much more of a green and woodsy fragrance. And one of my favorite pickups of the year, Mercedes-Benz Ultimate. One of the best releases of 2023 that doesn't get a whole lot of limelight. Issey Miyake's L'Odyssée pour Homme Vetiver is such a great fragrance. Fresh water, minty, slightly sweet geranium, and a light earthy tone to this overall fresh and woody vetiver nuance. Obviously, it's based around vetiver. It's a vetiver flanker, but it's one of the better fresh vetivers I own. I'm so here for this. A lot of these Issey Miyake L'Odyssée flankers kind of fly under the radar because they release so many of them. This is a line that's been flankered to death for years and years. And look, not all of them are remarkable, but all of them are at least pretty good. This one's, I think, not quite remarkable, but better than just pretty good. I think if you like fresh vetivers, you want something super versatile that doesn't smell like everything else, you might want to look into this one. It was immediately, almost right after it released, available for around 60 bucks, pretty affordable. I think you can get it a little bit cheaper now in the low 50s, but this is a great pickup. Solid performer, not a beast, but not weak. A little bit better than average. It smells really good. One of the best releases, in my opinion, of 2023. I was so glad to pick this one up. L'Odyssée Vetiver. Last but not least, this was one of my favorite cheapies I picked up. My buddy Chad over at the channel A Gentleman's Journey, we were talking about some reviews to do together, and he suggested this one. And there was a stretch during the summer where I was loving wearing this one. It's Kenneth Cole, Mankind Unlimited. Fresh, watery orange, a little zesty and spicy, super freshwater aquatic, with a nice woody nuance as it dries. There's a lot of notes, but it's pretty much that. Like, you see this silicone band going around this? I relate that to like the armband you get at a water park. I said this during the summer. I don't know, this reminds me of a water park on a hot summer's day on summer vacation. It really does. I get that vibe to it. Not saying you need to wear this to a water park. I get it. You're getting in the water. It's going to rinse off. But it gives me that feeling when I smell it. I'm just such a fan of this one. Definitely one of my favorite cheapies that I picked up this year that I probably never would have gave 2 looks had it not been for Chad. So Chad, I appreciate the recommendation because I do love this fragrance. Clearly, it's one of my favorite 20 pickups of 2023. Kenneth Cole, Mankind Unlimited. Well, I know it was a pretty long video. I tried to keep it as short as I could, but I mean, it is what it is. I say what I got to say from each one and try to keep it moving. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. So I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. What's some of your favorite pickups of the year? These are my favorites. Like I said, nothing here was sent to me by anyone. This was all part of my many random fragrance hauls that I had this year, because I bought a lot of fragrances this year, guys. I love it. I love discovering new things, talking about new fragrances with you guys, visiting things that I've never tried before. So yeah, if you're interested in checking any of these out, I'll try to have links to everything down below in the description. And until next time, I will say, if you pick up any of my 20 favorite pickups of the year and you give them a spray now, you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.